America, God help you see, 3 decades of trickle down has run our country into the ground. The rich are always going to say that, just give us more money and we'll go out and spend more and then it will all trickle down to the rest of you. But that has not worked the last 10 years, and I hope the American public is catching on. Warren Buffett, November 2010. God help you see, you're awash in legal bribery. Our infrastructure is aging and failing. Our children are homeless, hungry, and ailing. Our families go bankrupt paying medical bills. Our colleges are unaffordable. For more than 3 decades, we have known that oil dependency is harmful to our environment and our economic and national security. Yet our government continues to subsidize, illogically, extremely profitable oil companies for our nation's treasure and blood. Corporations and special interest parties, like pests swarming Congress's lobbies, without any opposition, exchange campaign contributions and promises of future high-paying positions for legislation that's understood is not in the interest of the national good. America, God help you see, with your spacious skies, from sea to shining sea, comes a vast opportunity for wind and solar energy. You could have been oil addiction free, creating thousands of jobs to develop and transmit this new energy. America, God help you see, tax cuts and more tax cuts are not your salvation, they are your devastation. Tax cuts redistribute the wealth to improve the 1%'s economic health. Robin Hood in reverse, it's all so perverse. America, God help you see, 3 decades of trickle down has run the country into the ground. A typical family's share of the country's economic pie is now a sliver of its former size. The disparity in income has not been this great since 1928. The top 1% share of after-tax income more than doubled between 1979 and 2007. This disparity continues to grow. In 1928, when the country's wealth was, as it is now, in a few hands, the vast majority of Americans across this land did not have the income to purchase goods and services required to keep the economy on track. The country's wealth disparity led to the Great 1929 crash and to the Great Depression that more than a decade would last. This level of income inequality, research shows, endangers our society on a variety of fronts. In 2007, the top 1% share of the national income peaked at 23.5%. The only other year since 1913 that the wealthy had claimed such a large share of national income was 1928, when the top 1% share was 23.9%. The following year, the stock market crashed and the Great Depression began. After peaking again in 2007, the U.S. stock market crashed in 2008, leading to what some are now calling the Great Recession. After rising steadily and relatively equitably during the 3 decades following World War II, between 1947 and 1979, family incomes stagnated or grow at drastically lower rates for the vast majority of Americans, creating the greatest income disparity since 1928. This contrasts sharply with the 1947 to 1979 period, when all income groups saw similar income gains, with the lowest income group actually seeing the largest gains. The 85 richest people in the world have as much wealth as the 3.5 billion poorest. In the United States, the wealthiest 1% captured 95% of the post-financial crisis growth since 2009, while the bottom 90% became poorer. America, God help you see that you are repeating history. There is evidence all around that with 3 decades of trickle down, the rich have been crowned. The top 1% share of the national income has doubled, while the 99% don't understand why their future is troubled. The top 1% take nearly 25% of the nation's income every year, while the 99% watch opportunity disappear. The top 1% control 40% of the country's wealth, while the 99% cannot afford to maintain good health. There's class warfare, all right, but it's my class, the rich class, that's making war, and we're winning. Warren Buffett. America, God help you see that an American working for less than living wage is not free. When compensation for one's labor does not feed, clothe, provide medical care, and pension for old age, that is essentially slavery. Roosevelt's New Deal brought prosperity. In the 50s, 60s, and 70s, one middle-class income could raise a family. But before the New Deal could be fully realized and the Economic Bill of Rights materialized, trickle-down came around to tear it down. America, God help you see, that President Reagan's welfare queen was one of many imagery used to manipulate and inflict major injury in our safety net and opportunity. The opportunity to be educated, to be healthy, to be hunger-free. Opportunity for a child to realize their full potential, to fully contribute to their country, previously afforded to all American children, regardless of their parents' means. Opportunity that builds a country based on a strong foundation, not on one dependent on the pocket change of the 1% trickling down. A country based on an educated citizenry, whose work is valued and fairly compensated, a citizenry assured that their labor at the minimum will sustain them and provide for health care and a retirement, a citizenry assured that their labor will provide economic security. A citizenry at liberty to take risks, to follow their dreams, to innovate, to create new technologies for our society, not a citizenry living paycheck to paycheck, teetering on the edge of economic abyss. Today, minimum wage is $7.25 per hour. Minimum wage would be $21.72 if kept pace with increases in productivity, study indicates. Even if the minimum wage kept up with inflation since it peaked in real value in the late 1960s, low-wage workers should be earning a minimum of $10.52 an hour according to the study. In 1980, the average CEO made 50 times more money than the average worker. Today, the average CEO makes over 300 times more than the average worker. No one's contribution to a company's success is worth that much more than that of another individual's. America, God help you see, the economic system is out of whack. We must get this country back on track. 3 decades of trickle-down has run this country into the ground. Free speech is not money, no how, no way, and corporations do not have the same rights as people, no matter what the servants to the top 1% on the Supreme Court say. It's time for a constitutional amendment to undo these absurd interpretations and to establish a second Bill of Rights, Roosevelt's Economic Bill of Rights. To reestablish justice and tranquility, promote the general welfare and the pursuit of happiness, and secure the blessings of liberty and opportunity for ourselves and our posterity, to ensure that the American dream does not remain just a dream. The Economic Bill of Rights, excerpt from President Roosevelt's January 11, 1944 message to the Congress of the United States on the State of the Union. It is our duty now to begin to lay the plans and determine the strategy for the winning of a lasting peace and the establishment of an American standard of living higher than ever before known. We cannot be content, no matter how high that general standard of living may be, if some fraction of our people, whether it be 1/3 or 1/5 or 1/10, is ill-fed, ill-clothed, ill-housed, and insecure. In our day, these economic truths have become accepted as self-evident. We have accepted, so to speak, a second Bill of Rights under which a new basis of security and prosperity can be established for all, regardless of station, race, or creed. Among these are the right to a useful and remunerative or self-sustaining job in the industries or shops or farms or mines of the nation, the right to earn enough to provide adequate food and clothing and recreation, the right of every farmer to raise and sell his products at a return which will give him and his family a decent living, the right of every businessman, large and small, to trade in an atmosphere of freedom from unfair competition and domination by monopolies at home or abroad, the right of every family to a decent home, the right to adequate medical care and the opportunity to achieve and enjoy good health, the right to adequate protection from the economic fears of old age, sickness, accident, and unemployment, the right to a good education. America, God help you see, trickle down is the work of ghouls. We the people can establish new and fair rules. So bid adieu to the voodoo, extend your hand to your fellow man, and understand that we will all do better then. America, God help you see, community and opportunity will make us stronger. We can't wait any longer. Let's be the country we were meant to be, from sea to shining sea. God help you see.